Hey again, this is Michelle in Soul Space in Carrick and Shannon, and this video series is brought to you by the HSE through the Leitrim Development Company. I hope you'll join me for this class that is designed for before bedtime. A series of stretches and breathing practices to help relax the body and de-stress the body before you go to sleep. A lot of us think that sleep is what de-stresses us. But you might also notice that when you go to sleep feeling stressed out, feeling worried, that you have a hard time either getting to sleep or staying asleep. Or you might toss and turn a lot because you have tension in the body or a lot of thoughts going on in the mind. So what we'd like to do is de-stress before we get in bed, so that the body can be a little bit more comfortable. We're not lying down and then noticing a pain in the neck or a pain in the back. And as well, we're not just lying there thinking about all of the day's activities or all the things that we have to do tomorrow. We're clearing the mind or calming the mind, and we're just de-stressing the body just enough so that when we do put our head down on the pillow, we can get to sleep quickly and we can remain asleep for the night. So join me by sitting upright in whatever comfortable position you find. If you find it uncomfortable to sit in a cross-legged position, you could have your feet out in front, or you might find it helpful to sit up on a cushion or something. That usually just lifts our bum up a little bit higher than our knees, and it reduces any discomfort that we might be feeling, particularly in the knees. So as we often do or need to do when it's time to slow down and to really let go of the activity of the day, just settling into stillness for a moment. Nothing fancy, just sitting still. Sitting still. We might stretch our hands, clasp our fingertips, and stretch our arms out in front. We might reach up overhead, reach the arms out. Mostly we're just looking to sit down. Close the eyes if you like, and tune in to what's happening in our body right now. Most of the time we're in our heads throughout the day. We're thinking about what we're doing, what we have to do next, what we have to do later, the dinner, the kids, all the jobs that we have throughout the day. And then when we're not thinking about the things we have to do, we're thinking about the things we're currently doing, or we're reflecting on the things we already did, conversations we had, what we could have done, what we should have done. And so often we're just in autopilot and we're in our heads and we're not in our bodies. We're not noticing even what's happening in our body. So the first step in this relaxation process is just to sit still and notice what's happening around this body, with this body. Now, if your eyes are open, you can just look around. You can blink your eyes a few times, look around. Notice simple things like colors that are in the room or outside. Notice the textures of things. Or it's easier to close your eyes and just notice any light or color that appears with the eyes closed. Then if we keep the eyes closed, it helps us to focus on our other senses. So we usually start with the eyes, noticing what we see. Then we can move on to what we hear. Closing the eyes, listen. Listen to one side. Listen to the other side, noticing the sounds around you. Notice a sound that's very close by and one that is further away. Without judgment, try not to label them as good or bad sounds. Just there's sound happening there, especially if it's a sound that you think is disturbing you. Try not to let it disturb you. Try to just say, oh, that's just a sound. That's just a sound. Then move on to the mouth. Notice any taste in the mouth, any sensation in the mouth, in the tongue, in the teeth. You might notice the air moving across the back of the tongue. Notice the sensation beneath the fingertips. The sensation, the texture of your clothing, if your fingers are touching your clothing. Sensation of hair maybe touching the side of your face. Maybe the texture of what you're sitting on, or if you're leaning on something. If you have a blanket that you're covered up with, maybe you feel the texture of that blanket. I have a heater blowing air down towards me from my left side, so I can feel the warm air coming down on the left side of my body. So notice sensations on the skin, sight, sound, taste, smell, touch. Noticing those 5 senses. Then notice the breath. Without taking any big, deep breath, just notice the breath is coming into the body and it's going out of the body. Now pull the breath in through the nose. Feel the breath entering through the nostrils and going down the throat. You might feel the lungs expand. You might feel the belly expand, depending on how deeply you're breathing. Notice those things fully. And then notice the exhale. Notice the belly sink in, the chest sink in. Even you can see my body just kind of slumps a little bit. As I inhale, I rise up a bit. As I exhale, I collapse down a little bit. So just slowing down and noticing these gentle movements with the breath. Noticing your 5 senses. And just settling into a bit of calm. So we're going to lie down on our back. Now that we've just gotten a bit centered, we've slowed down, we're going to lie down on our back. And this is best to do on the floor, on a harder surface. It's a little bit wonky to do this if you're lying in your bed. If you're thinking, I'll just do this in bed, this gets a little bit harder. Of course, you can do a variation of it if you're in bed. So we have this position like this that's called bridge. So we're making this space underneath the body that's kind of like a bridge. A moving bridge then. We start with our arms down at the side of the body. Our feet are planted on the floor. Our knees are hip distance apart. So there's some space between the 2 legs, nearly the space of another leg. And we're going to keep the feet on the floor and push into the feet to lift up our bum. At the same time, we're going to lift up the arms. So we're going like this. And we're going to reach the arms all the way up overhead. So we're lifting our belly up just as far as we're comfortable. Our weight is in our feet, and the arms come up. So I inhale up, exhale down. It's a constant movement, keeping our attention on the breath. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up and stretching the arms up overhead. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Big breath, inhale up. And exhale, bring it back down. We do this to loosen up the tightness in the back and in the shoulder and arms. So I might have mentioned before, we're crunching over, we're driving, we're sitting a lot in our lives. So we want to keep the mobility in the shoulders, keep this movement happening, loosening up the upper body, and that helps the upper back
And lifting up like this strengthens the whole back of the body, from the neck down through the back of the legs. And when we release some of that tightness, that just makes it easier when we go to lie down. We don't feel that stiffness in the back or in the neck that we might if we just laid immediately down. So if you bend your knees and kind of hug them up to your body now, it doesn't have to be strongly pulled up. They can just be loosely bent upward. And with our two palms on our two kneecaps, we're just going to circle around. So we're just going to circle the knees around, pulling them towards us, going out to the side, pushing away. Breathing as we do this, and we'll reverse and go the other direction. And you might notice that this is shifting the pressure from the two hips and the low back. So we're getting like a little massage in the low back area. Again, another area where sometimes we can feel a little bit sensitive or a little bit sore. And when we go to get in bed and get ready for sleep, that pain will rise for us. So we want to try to just soften that and eliminate that. We're going to lift our feet up towards the ceiling now. I'm flexing my toes down towards me. So rather than pointing up like a ballerina, I'm flexing them down. I can hold on to the back of my leg. And we're just kind of stretching out some of the tightness in the back of the leg. So I'm flexing my toes down, and now I am going to point them up. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, and one more point, and one last flex. Just loosening up the ankles and the feet. Now holding the legs up, we're going to rotate, circle the feet around. So we're just loosening out those ankles. If we've had our feet crammed in shoes, it just feels nice to wiggle the feet around. And anytime we have our feet up, you might feel the sensation of your feet getting a little bit cold, and you might feel some tingling. It's just the blood that's draining back out of the foot. So it reduces any swelling or any congestion in the feet, in the ankles. A lot of us get a little bit of swelling in the ankles if we're standing or sitting a lot during the day. So anytime, even if you had a piece of furniture there and you just had your feet up, it pays to put your feet up, no matter how high. It can be up towards the ceiling like this, or it can just be slightly elevated, resting on a chair or something. That's really good for our circulation in our legs and to reduce swelling in the feet or ankles. So another alternate way of doing that. So if you have a wall, or even if you lay the opposite direction in your bed and you put your feet up at the headboard side, if you have your feet up just like that, and you just relax for a little bit. No phone, don't be looking at anything, just close the eyes. You can also bring the palms together, reach the arms up overhead. Again, we're getting into the shoulders, and sometimes it kind of gets stopped. Our shoulders will just kind of stop, kind of part way. You need to kind of even lift the shoulders off, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then you can get them to go past. So you can have the arms together, or you can spread the arms out. So now I can feel my actual shoulder blades are touching the ground. I can have my arms spread however I like. And I just can rest with my feet up. Now the closer you scoot your bum towards the wall, or even if, like me, you have a cushion or a bolster, you can lift your bum up a little bit higher too. Then we start to also get some elevation of the hips higher than the heart. It just starts to relax. Any swelling around the hips and the low back as well. So getting into some sort of legs up position. If you can put your feet up on anything, we're just going to stay this way for another minute or two. Being still is sometimes the very hardest thing that we find to do for ourselves, because we're all so used to going and going and going and doing and looking and scrolling. So just avoiding looking or even listening to any, music or anything that's going to distract you. Just try to be still. Notice the breath. If we simply follow the inhale, as we inhale, we say to ourselves, I'm inhaling. And as we exhale, we say in our head, I am exhaling. I am inhaling. I am exhaling. I am inhaling. I am exhaling. If we give ourselves that little bit of a job to say what we're doing, it helps to keep us from getting distracted by our kids or distracted by the things that have happened throughout the day. It just keeps our mind settled. With every breath you take, notice as you exhale that the body just starts to soften a little bit more. It starts to soften because the tension starts to leave the body. It's as if with every exhale, we're getting rid of the tension, we're getting rid of the stress, we're letting go of it. Let's inhale calm. Imagine that we can inhale calmness as we breathe in. And as we exhale, we can exhale stress. Inhale peace. And exhale stress. You can imagine even that the air is somehow peaceful. Maybe the air is clear and maybe it's white like a cloud. You're inhaling this beautiful, clean, crisp, peaceful air. And you're exhaling like black smoke. It's just something to visualize if you find it helpful. If we think about how we want to feel, as we start to relax, we can bring that feeling into the body. If we think about what we want to let go of, we want to let go of stress, we want to let go of tension, tightness in the body, we want to let go of fear or anxiety. We can think about that being, we can think about that leaving the body every time we exhale. Inhaling peace, exhaling stress. Inhaling peace, exhaling stress. So legs up to the wall is what this is called, but feet up anywhere is a great posture to get into at the end of the day. Before you get in bed, we've started to relax the back, we've started to reduce or relieve the swelling in the feet and the legs. And now let's just return to either sitting
or lying down on the back. Once you're up, if you want to get a cushion for your head, if you want to get a blanket, you can cover yourself up. You can get nice and cozy. Again, now this could be in your bed, or it could be lying on the couch, or you could still be on the floor if that's where you've been. But you might want to cover up and get cozy. So just into a relaxing position. Make sure that there's a little bit of space between your 2 feet, just because that helps our hips relax a little bit more. If we have our feet glued together, it causes some tightness in the low back that we mightn't realize is happening. You could also, if you're more comfortable, keep the knees bent or put something behind your knees, another cushion or something, so that you have a little bit of bend in the knee as you lie back and relax. So this is a very low effort yoga session, but we want to not be going to a lot of effort before we get to bed. We want to be doing things that are calming us down, that are slowing the body down and releasing any tension in the body so that we can get a more restful sleep. So just for the last moment or two, as you're lying down in stillness, I want you to close your eyes as gently as they close. No squeezing, just close the eyes gently. Breathe in deeply and out again. I just want you to imagine the most beautiful place that you've ever seen. Even if you've only seen it in your imagination or your dreams, if you've seen it in a movie or on television, maybe the most beautiful place is a tropical beach. Maybe the most beautiful place is the Irish countryside. Maybe the most beautiful place is a big, luxurious, soft and cozy bed. Bring to mind some place that you think is really beautiful. Just see in your mind's eye the colors of this place. Is it full of greens and yellows? Is it outdoors or indoors? See this place in your mind's eye. See the beauty of it and feel the sensation in your body of how it is to be in that place. Is the place under a hot, warm sun? Is it near a warm, open fire? Or is it outdoors with the breeze coming off water? Populate your mind with as many details of this beautiful place as you can. I like to rely on a sandy beach. It's a place that I don't get to often, but I like to imagine a beautiful sandy beach on a really sunny, warm day. Imagining the sun beating down on the skin of my face, and I can imagine that I feel the heat of that sun on my cheeks, on my forehead, on the surface of my hands. I could imagine that I feel the texture of the sand beneath my bare feet, powdery sand coming up between my toes. I can imagine the smell of the sea, maybe even the smell of somebody's coconut suntan oil. What does your lovely place smell like? Is there food involved? Is there a taste? Is there a drink or a food that's in this place that you really relish? See this place and see yourself in this lovely place. See in your mind's eye yourself enjoying this place. Whether enjoying it is just being by yourself, luxuriating in comfort and soft furnishings, or if it's, playing outdoors with children, with pets, whatever it might be, see yourself in that place and bring to mind what it feels like to enjoy that lovely, lovely place. What sensation or what feeling do you associate with this place? Is it joy? Is it happiness? Is it nostalgia of your youth? What do you feel when you revisit this place in your mind? Is it calm? Is it peaceful? Maybe it's a happy, chaotic feeling. Just bring that to mind, see it in your mind's eye. And then change that vision in your mind to a dark, dark wintry night. Imagine a full moon up overhead in a dark blue, black night. A spattering of stars is up in the sky and that big full moon. Imagine a sense of calmness coming over your body, as if you're lying in a dome and you can see the whole sky above your head, but you don't feel any of the elements of weather. You're cozy and warm, but you can watch the beauty of the night sky. You feel the comfort beneath your body. You feel a blanket covering your body. And you know when that sky is looking down on you and everything is peaceful, that you can keep your eyes closed and rest comfortably with sweet, sweet dreams. And just a reminder that these videos are funded by the HSC through the Leitrim Development Company. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful, pleasant night's sleep.